Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You hear your host GBHL Damian, and this is my hobby vlog number 31, and it's my first hobby vlog of the new year, so Happy New Year. Did you have a lovely Christmas? I hope so. I honestly have no idea if I had a lovely Christmas yet, because due to the complexities of GBHL podcast recording, it's still 2015 for me. It's currently the 21st, it's Monday the 21st of December, and so I'm actually recording this before you've seen my last hobby vlog. But what I basically wanted to do was kind of talk you through my plans for 2016, as it were, and the hobby I'm going to be doing then, and also show you some of the things I plan to be working on, but I need to show you it now for reasons that will become clear. So, as anyone who has been following my hobby vlogs, or maybe even saw that post on the Great British Hobbit League just before Christmas, will know I managed to paint 54 models in 2015, which, I don't know, it's alright I suppose. If you didn't see it, I put a post up on the Great British Hobbit League Facebook page, kind of asking what people had done, and you know, a lot of people have painted more than me, some people have painted less than me, and it was just an interesting discussion really, to see how much different people painted, and how quickly they painted, and that sort of thing. And one thing it highlighted for me was that by working this out, I worked out I'd painted less than any year since I got back into the hobby. So I got back into the hobby about 5 years ago, and I don't know the exact numbers, but it was something like I painted 120 models the first year, 180 models the next year, then 80, 60, and now 54, something like that. So I've been kind of dropping off, which is a bit of a shame, but it can be due to a bunch of things. My job is more time intensive now than it was 5 years ago. I also think my models are better. So like a lot of the models I painted this year were those Mirkwood elves that, if you've been following my vlogs, you know how long they took me. So those elves were taking me a lot longer to paint than, say, the stuff I was doing back in 2012, which was kind of Moria Goblins and Uruk-hai. So that had an impact on my output, as it were. But it's still, you know, it was a bit disheartening for me, if I'm brutally honest. And what it made me do was go through my entire backlog and try and work out how much I painted. And it turns out, guys, I've painted about 500 models, Lord of the Rings models, over the last 5 years. And I've got about 620 in the backlog. And if I'm painting 50 a year, that means that it will take me 13 years to clear my backlog if I don't buy anything else, which is a kind of terrifying statistic. So obviously, my biggest plan for 2016 is to up that. Tom Harrison hilariously painted 56. It was a very Legolas and Gimli thing. I don't think we knew we were doing it, but he just pipped me to that, and he said his target for 2016 was to paint 100 models, and you know, that's definitely a good target, I think, and maybe I'll aim for that. I don't honestly have a clue how I'm going to find more painting time, but maybe the key is in the stuff I'm painting won't take as long as the elves did. I honestly don't know, but it certainly made me think about what I want to do in 2016, and ultimately I don't think you can put it based purely on numbers, because, for example, one of those 620 models is Smaug, and that is not the same as a goblin in terms of painting time. Similarly, there's a lot of monsters I've got that I'd like to do, which will obviously take longer. So it's not necessarily just about number of models as it is about, you know, the size of them and the things you want for your collection. And ultimately, we want them. I don't want to rush anything. But what all this made me do was really start thinking and prioritising about what I wanted to get painted this year. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but particularly if you're relatively new to the channel, but about a year and a half ago, me and Jamie did a video called Unboxing the Box, I think it was, which was basically, I've got a big brown box, which was all my kind of, I think it was unopened boxes and blisters. There's still loads more models that are in figure cases that hadn't been painted, but it was basically going through this huge box, this almost unending box of stuff that I had to paint. And that's basically how I get my next thing to paint. I'll go and dig around in the box and find what I want and bring it out. And that's fine. But what I realised was, I don't know, psychologically it's kind of just staring at this big box and going, oh god, there could be anything in there, I don't really know. So what I decided to do was pull out of it everything I wanted to paint next. And there was also, and this is slightly exciting for a year's time, there was also an incentive on it of things I wanted to paint before I paint Smaug. Because I know that Smaug, whenever I get to do him, is going to take me, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months or something to paint, maybe more, who knows. But I wanted, before I start on him, I wanted to finish off some forces, do some new stuff. And so I went through it and said, what do I really want to get done before I go and try and tackle that dragon? And what I've done is gone through my box and come up with essentially what I want to paint in 2016. And so what I have here for you is my 2016 box. Yeah? And the idea behind this is, I know it sounds stupid, but I now have a smaller box of Doom full of everything that physically says 2016 on it and will sit in the cupboard looking at me. And the idea will be that hopefully throughout the year I will gradually empty this box and paint everything in it. That's the plan. And then the big box of Doom doesn't really come into my life. I don't have to worry about everything else that I'm going to paint in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. All I have to worry about for now is this box. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go through it with you in what is roughly the order I'm planning to paint in. So I want to say almost as a little, what's it called, not a catch-all, what's the word? Just to make sure I'm not under contract, you know. It's not set in stone. I can, obviously if something else catches my eye, or I may well just sort of go right off something that's in here, or I may decide to jump something off the queue. But the plan is to do this stuff. And certainly I think the first 6 months or so are fairly set. So let's have a dig around and see what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm planning to do are these guys. Da, 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 da. That is Gloin, Dorry and Norrie, Keely, Feely and Bofa, Walin, Barlin and Oin, Bomber, Ori and Biffa, and Thorin, because I've already done Bilbo. Yep, it's the Champions of Erebor. And that is my kind of first project, and that is not an insignificant project, certainly by my standards. So these are obviously the new Champions of Erebor models. I got them about a year ago when they came out. 13 heroes, and that's what I'm going to start with. That's going to be the first thing, and I'm really quite excited about doing these. I really enjoyed painting Thorin's company, and I did it about 2 years ago now. So it took me a while to work through them, or the plastic one I did, and I've got them in the barrels as well, and I've got them as Champions of Erebor, and I thought, I think now it's been long enough that I can give them another crack and have another go at painting the company. And I've got some plans to use them in some tournaments. I'm currently thinking for throwing skulls, if I manage to get to that, because at the moment I can't go to it, unfortunately. If I was going to that, I might take a Champions of Erebor force, which I think would be quite fun. But yeah, they'll be the first thing I'm going to do, and they are, roughly speaking, at my rate, a hero a week. So that right there, 13, is 3 months, maybe 4 months work of the year already. So that's kind of scary to think about it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to start with. Then I'm going to move on to this little pile. I say little pile. I have Bard mounted. Some Lake Town Militia, and these are the direct only order ones, but they are Lake Town Guard, and the Master of Lake Town. So this is basically finishing off my Lake Town force. So I started painting some Lake Town stuff a year and a half ago for the last Throne of Skulls, I believe it was, when I did the original Bard the Bowman, and I did 5 Lake Towners, and that's where my Lake Town stuff has got to. I haven't done anything since on that. Have I just lost Bard? Oh, so that's been kind of sitting there. That little project has been sitting there, kind of half finished, and it's been irking me and annoying me. And this 2016 will be the year that I see to that and get that finished. So at the rate I paint, again, 7 Lake Towners, because I've got one other one who's half painted, is maybe 2 weeks. The militia, there was 9, it's probably, let's say it's 3 weeks, 2 heroes. It's probably about 2 months to do the Lake Town, so there's another 2 months of the year. Also, what I have is this little bundle. Gundabads, 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 and a captain. Yep, a warband of Gundabad Orcs. I've wanted to do these guys for a while. I've got Azog painted up. I've got Golb, that's taken off. The old model painted up, and I've got Yazneg and Thimble on Warg painted up. And I've had them for ages for scenario play, but I really wanted some troops to lead them. And one of my big plans for the next force was going to be my Azog's Hunters army, but that kind of took a back burner because Tom painted that. Tom made that his project, didn't he? He's painted up a great Azog's Hunters army this year, so that kind of took a backstage seat for that. Now, with those Gundabads, out of those three, I might actually do them before the Champions of Erebor. I don't actually know, but I think they'll be before the Lake Town. So I think it's going to be Champions of Erebor or Gundabads, then the other one them, then Lake Town. And those Gundabads, hopefully, I'm deliberately picking them because I'm going to paint them like my Uruk-hai. I'm sure they'll be a bit better than my Uruk-hai, but the idea being that they should be a bit quicker, and hopefully I get 11 models, and that kind of bumps up my my model count for the year. So hopefully those, I'll do them in one batch, I think, and that might only take 2 weeks. So we are, what are we, 4, 6, we're kind of 6.5 months so far. And then things open up a bit, and I've got a few choices. So other things I really want to, I've got some options in here that I really want to get done that aren't necessarily as I don't know, taxing or as big projects. I have Radagast on Sleigh. I've said it a lot before over the in videos, various videos, but I'm a big defender of the Hobbit movies and the Hobbit aesthetic, and I love some of the stuff that they've come up with, and this for me is fantastic. I absolutely love the rabbit sleigh. I think it's cool, and I would like to get that up for some scenarios. We got some ideas about writing a scenario where he's been, to represent the bit where he's been chased by the Hunter Orcs while the dwarves try to escape. I think that could be quite good fun. So yeah, I have Radagast Sleigh on the list. I also have a Wild Warg Chieftain. That's crazy, isn't it? What the hell is a Wild Warg Chieftain doing in here? Well, he is Azog's White Warg as a dismount, and it's something that I've had Azog painted up for ages. I need a Wild Warg dismount. I bought him for this purpose, but I've just never got around to him. So I'd like to get him finished. I've also got Thimble and Yazneg on foot, who have been base coated and shaded for 1.5 years, and I've got their mounted versions done and haven't done them. So they kind of come into this category of just finishing those bits up, kind of cleaning up that little project. And hopefully that wouldn't, to do all of them, that might only take about a week or something. So after that, I have this box, Radagast the Brown on Eagle. We've got him, which is awesome. There he is, the Radagast the Brown Eagle kit. So another Radagast. I've painted up the plastic Radagast. He's the first Hobbit model I ever painted, but he's the only one I've done. So that was at least 2 years ago, maybe more than that now. Can't always remember. But the Eagle is there that I'd like to get done. I also have something completely off the wall now, very, very different, which is, again, you might be aware that I've got this if you've been watching Facebook a lot. The Great Beast of Gorgoroth. One of my mates got me a 30 quid GW voucher for my birthday, and I decided to get something that I really wanted to make sure it didn't go out of production but would never buy. I decided to get the Great Beast because I think it's an awesome kit. I think it's one of Games Workshop's best ever inventions. And yeah, I was keen to get it. So obviously now it's getting a bit hard to kind of figure out timings, because how long does Radagast on Eagle take? How long does Radagast on Sleigh or the Great Beast of Gorgoroth take? And it's really hard to say, but I don't know, let's be incredibly optimistic and say each one of these things is 2 weeks. Yeah, so I think we were at 7 months. I think we're now at 8.5 months after those three, something like that. Carrying on in this vein, I have this. You might remember this bag from an unbagging some time ago. It's the Watcher in the Water, which would take us up to 9 months. Now, the Watcher in the Water and the Great Beast in particular have got no bearing on any army I want to do at all. I just think they're really cool and I like to see them. I don't have a Mordor army. I've got the same Mordor army a lot of people have got, where I've got some Mordor Orcs and a few Ring Wraiths painted up from scenarios. But I love the Great Beast. I think it's really cool, and I just like to paint something fun. So, and it's exactly the same with Watching the War, although I've got more of a Warrior Force, I guess. They're being painted up as single pieces. I also realised that I don't have a lot of monsters painted at all, like full stop. I've got 2 eagles, 2 Mirkwood spiders, Beorn, and a cave troll, and I think they're the only monsters I've painted for Lord of the Rings, which is kind of strange. So part of again my choices in what I was going to do in 2016 were about that. Were about kind of getting some cool stuff like Radion Eagle, Radion Sleigh, the Watcher in the War, the Great Beast of Gorgoroth. So we've got those. I said we're about 9 months. Oh, here's a guy who slipped down the cracks a bit. We have the very rare, very sought after Gandalf the Grey on Horse. There he is, you can see him there. Gandalf the Grey on Horse, which again, I just think, seeing as I'm painting up this kind of, I've done all my Mirkwood Elves, I've got my Armoured Dwarfs, I'll have the Champions Erebor, I've got Lake Towners. I think painting up Gandalf on horse for a kind of Battle of Five Armies theme, he fits in there. It feels like to me the right time to do him. I've also got a lot of Gandalf love at the moment. I've just finished my Dol Guldur Gandalf. After Christmas, as you'll see, I will be doing another Gandalf. So I feel like in the mood for Gandalfs. So he'll probably be done alongside the Champions of Erebor, Lake Towns or Gundabads before I get started on the other stuff, just to get him going. So yeah, Gandalf the Grey on Horse. And then the final one of the big fun beasties I want to add is, well, it's not really the final one, it's the final 3. The 3 Trolls. Yeah. Bilbo and Tom. Which I'm really keen to get done. And again, these are something that I've wanted to do for ages. I think they're cool, they're incredibly iconic. I love An Unexpected Journey, it's why I want to do Radagast on Sleigh. I think they really, really fit in. They're brilliant models. I love them, love them, love them. I also think they're great in the game. I think they'd be fun to use. They're really cool special rules. And so I want to get these guys done as well. So if we add in Gandalf and we add in the Trolls, we're at least talking about 10 months at least. Which leads us to the final thing, which is in the box, which again you have seen before, particularly on and some of my hobby vlogs a long time ago. Hobby vlogs at the start of the year I think showed these guys off and said they were going to be done this year. Nope. But it is a Dale contingent. I'm still keeping the faith with Dale. So my Dale Warriors, and I have 2 boxes of them, and I've got a Girion, and also the captain of Dale went on my Christmas list, so hopefully if I've got a good boy, Santa will bring them to me. And yeah, I'd like to do them. So yeah, that's kind of almost the last thing for 2016 I can see myself doing, painting up a kind of Dale contingent, which I think will be really cool. I love the models, and you don't see a lot of Dale. Although someone posted a picture up today, was it Timothy Hickson I think, put a picture up of something like, I don't know, 48 Dale Warriors led by 4 captains, which is pretty cool, that he's thinking of for Throwing Skulls. So I'd like to give the Dale some love, and so they'll be doing it. So what did I say, we're up to about 10 months. Dale Warriors, I remember David Whittaker saying they had a lot of detail on them. These are troublesome for me, because these could very quickly become my new Mirkwood Elves. You know, the kind of warrior models that you just slave over and over and over. But again, let's be optimistic and say I did these in 3 batches, each taking 2 weeks, plus Girion, maybe that's about 2 months, which takes us up to 12 months. And that is my year. So, if I start with all this stuff, and my incredibly generous estimations are correct, then I could get it done in a year. However, I'm a realist. I'm very much a realist. A lot of people think I'm a pessimist. I'm not. I'm a realist. And I know that things will get in the way. And so, dear viewers, I don't think I will get all this finished. But I still don't think that makes it worth not doing. I don't think I'll finish all of this in a year. And it's really tricky, but if I had to drop something, I think, being utterly honest, I'd drop the Lord of the Rings stuff. I think if I had to bump something, I'd rather have the Dale painted up than the Great Beast and the Watcher. So I think the Great Beast and the Watcher are the bonuses that you might actually look for around the start of 2017, possibly. But that's what I'm hoping for. And this is only further complicated by one niggling problem that if you've been following my hobby vlogs you will know about. And that is these guys. These guys are my 2016 models that I didn't get finished. So you've seen them before. We've got 2 of these, 2 Mirkwood Knights. We've got Leggy, new Leggy, Megaless, foot mounted. We've got my Tarrior conversion. No, well, you've seen it before. And then we've also got a bit of a bonus entry, which is this White Council Galadriel, who I very recently got off Michael Churchill. He was selling him, so thanks Michael for a very good deal. And I haven't got I've got War Aspect Galadriel, and I've got the metal one, but I hadn't painted her up. And I really like this model, and I was always kind of more inclined to paint this model up, but didn't want to buy the rest of the White Council. So I've got her, and I want to do her, and she's been jumped up the list. And finally on this plate, you may remember that I've had a Gandalf waiting for a while. It was the Breaking the Third Ship Gandalf, and I still have Gandalf waiting, but the Gandalf has changed because there's a few reasons really, but I kind of went off that Gandalf model. I don't really think I needed him, but I did want to do another Gandalf, and so I've changed him to this one, which is the original Fellowship Gandalf. Tom Harrison has also started painting up Breaking the Fellowship Gandalf, and so we generally try and avoid repeats. So I thought, okay, well, if you're going to do that one, I'm going to do this one. And this model, I love. This model, to me, says the Lord of the Rings SBG. I remember I've owned this since it came out 15 years. I got it in the original Fellowship of the Ring box set way back in time. I remember seeing it in White Dwarf in probably the October issue before Fellowship of the Ring came out, and seeing it and going, oh my god, that's perfect, that's absolutely perfect. So, you know, I'd seen a couple of trailers of Fellowship of the Ring, but seeing this model going, oh my god, they've nailed it. And I've always wanted to do it, and I've just never painted this Gandalf. And I don't quite know why, but I really want to do him. It's a really iconic pose, and I think he's worth doing. So, unfortunately, before I get started on my Champions Erebor or my Gundabads, I've got to do these guys. As much as these feel very much last year, I've got to finish off these projects. And so these guys are going to be first. And unfortunately, these guys are probably going to take me about 2 months. So my 2016 box is going to start probably in about March. And hopefully it might be a bit quicker than that, and I might be able to smash through some of this stuff. But sadly, you saw how brilliantly my plan worked out for a year. Actually, because of these guys, I'm going to need 14 months. Making it all the less likely that I will get through all this in 2016. So, where does that leave us? Well, I think if I then have to bump 2 months, the day will then get bumped out of it. So my hope, and this is my realistic hope, for 2016 is that I finish these guys, I finish my Champions Variable, I finish my Lake Town contingent, I finish my Gundabads, I do my White Wild Chieftain and Fimble and Yazneg, Gandalf on Horse, Rally on Sleigh, Rally on Eagle, and the 3 Trolls. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, plus 13, live counting, great content, 29, plus 13, 30, 42, plus 7, 49, 50, 51, 60. That'll be 60 models if I get that painted, which would include 60 models, but 3 of them would be the Trolls. I'd have Raddy on Slayer and Raddy on Eagle, so some pretty big models in there. So 60 models, which, let's face it, I'll be happy with. It's an improvement on this year, which was 54, and I'd get some cool character pieces. So I think, guys, that is my plan, that is my hope. That in 2016, by the time I do my last hobby vlog for next year, I will have painted 60 models, which will be all those ones I've just talked you through. And hopefully if you're watching the channel and you're joining me on this journey in 2016, we'll see how close I get, if at all. And who knows, maybe if I'm lucky, I get to finish that and push on past it and maybe do some Dale stuff or the Watcher in the Water or the Grey Beast. We shall see. It's kind of crazy thinking about what I will have done this time next December. Who the hell knows where I'll be next December. But I think these kind of review vids are important. So that is my hobby vlog for this week. There's no actual hobby in it, but it's my hobby plan. that if I make my calculations right, when's the 1st? When's the Monday? So Christmas Day is 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, so it's the 4th, isn't it? Monday the 4th is the first one. No, we'll do it on, no, this will go, yeah. Who the hell knows? Monday the 4th, this will be going up to talk you through my plans for the new year. So yes, there you go. So maybe in the comments below, what you can do is let me know what your plans are for the new year, but also let me know how successful you think I'm going to be. Will I get it all done? Will I get none of it done? Will I paint 2 dwarfs next year? And will I beat my 54 model record this year? It'll certainly be an exciting year to come. So yeah, there you go. That's my first hobby vlog of the new year. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope you have a very happy new year. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. Support your Hobbit host by clicking on the links below. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Support your Hobbit hobby, and happy strategy battle game.